Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for all your wishes. Today I feel so much better, so they really helped. Now, one of my dear subscribers is currently struggling with a situation where someone repeatedly tries to find their way back into his life, and he doesn't really know how to respectfully tell them he no longer wants them in their life. And it's a problem that I've struggled with myself. I was afraid to upset the other person. I was afraid to make them feel hurt or disappointed or perhaps cause a conflict. And I didn't want to be blatantly honest. And so I tried to circumvent. I tried to make them clear that I didn't really want to spend time with them indirectly. But that actually perpetuated the problem because the person didn't receive my message fully. And I felt annoyed, perhaps even guilty. And it was simply not a very fun experience, all right? Not from my side and not from the other person's side. So how do you respectfully tell someone that you no longer want them to be in your life? Well, it's actually fairly simple. You're just going to be blatantly honest. You're going to be so blatantly honest that you can't escape the reality of the situation anymore. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a time and a space where you can sit down with this person, whether through a phone call or through text or in person, whatever suits your situation, and you're gonna tell them, I'm gonna be really honest with you right now. And I would like you to really listen and to consider my words as the truth. And I want to tell you that I no longer want to spend time with you. I no longer want you to contact me. I no longer want to give my attention, and I no longer want you to bother me. And I would like you to respect that decision, and I would like you to leave me alone. That is as simple as that. And what follows after that is their responsibility, because you have communicated your wish with them in a respectful manner. You have told them the truth, because it is the truth. You no longer want them to be in your life. Now, you have to be very careful because sometimes you haven't fully accepted that truth and you perhaps don't want them to fully leave, all right? And that is why you're unable to kind of cut cords with them. In that case, you need to be really honest with yourself first, okay? And then stop complaining if they're still in your life when you haven't fully accepted that you no longer want them to be there. So you have to be really honest with yourself, and then you can be really honest with them. And being honest is the most respectful thing you can do. It's a form of tough love because by telling the truth, you're giving them the opportunity to move on. You're saving yourself the energy of becoming resentful, of becoming angry perhaps, or frustrated with the situation. And that is actually the best thing for everyone involved, all right? So honesty is always the best option, always. Truth always wins. And sometimes the truth can be uncomfortable, okay? The other person might be upset. That's not your responsibility. You can let them know that you want to be there for them. You can express your understanding, your empathy. You can tell them, hey, I would understand if you feel disappointed. I do understand, okay? But I would like you to respect my decision. And my decision is blatant, in all honesty. I no longer want you to be in my life. And it's nothing personal. I simply don't want this to be the case anymore. And that is all you need to do. Nothing more, nothing less. And it's okay. You have to be okay with the fact that you want someone out of your life. That is totally fine. The mere fact that you no longer want to engage with them is enough. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to give reasons. There is no need for that, okay? Simple, the truth. Just stating the truth is enough. And whether they feel disappointed and hurt afterwards, that is, like I said earlier, no longer your responsibility. It's nice if you let them know that you can understand their perspective, you can understand their emotions, but again, you will not take responsibility for their feelings. It's their problem, all right? They will have to deal with this situation because I'm gonna be really honest with you, this is something that is part of life, okay? Sometimes you will have to go through a phase that is uncomfortable. Sometimes you will need to process rejection. Rejection is a good thing, okay? It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing because it's a way to filter out the things that belong in your life and that no longer belong in your life. So whenever someone rejects you, okay, you have to also think about the situation where you kind of feel rejected? How would you respond? What would be the best way for a friend to tell you, or a person in your life to tell you, that they no longer want you to be in their life? Okay, would you not rather appreciate them being blatantly honest and just letting you know what is the current state of affairs? Letting you know honestly, hey, I'm going to be really honest with you. I no longer want you to be in my life, and I would like you to respect that decision. That it makes it so much easier to come to terms, because you know they made up their mind. There is no ambiguity, okay? So that way you can move on and they can move on, and everybody is better off. Right? So you don't need to be afraid to upset someone. It's the best way to go about things, to be blatantly honest. And don't apologize. There's no need to apologize. Even if they're upset, you don't need to say sorry. Okay, you can express your understanding, but you don't need to apologize. There's no need. The mere fact that you want them out of your life is enough. Now, what's really important is that once you draw that boundary, you have to be very firm with it. You can't let them cross that boundary. Once you told them, you made up your mind, and you no longer want them to be in your life, then you also will not engage with their attempts to reinitiate conversation, to reinitiate contact. Okay? You will either completely ignore it, or you will have to block them through all channels and make sure they simply can't contact you. And you can let them know, right? You can give them like 2 shots. You can let them know, I no longer want you to contact me and to talk to me. So please respect the decision. Leave me alone. I'm not going to remove all social media and block you there, because I want to give you the opportunity to voluntarily not reach out anymore. But if you decide to break this boundary, I will have to take more extreme measures and block you on all social media so you can no longer contact me. Then I will have to make the decision for you, and I will remove myself completely from your life. Okay, you have to be firm with it, because people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So if you allow them to cross the boundary, then the boundary is flimsy, it doesn't exist, so they will continue to cross the boundary, and that's a problem I had. I said I want someone to stop contacting me, but I allowed them to reinitiate me, re-engage me, and that way they knew that my boundary wasn't real. But it was also because I was not fully ready to let them go. So first I needed to be really honest with myself, accept the fact that, okay, I'm not ready to let them go yet, so that is why I allowed them to come back into my life. Okay, then I needed to make the decision firmly and honestly. Now I'm ready to let them go. Now I really want them to be out of my life. And once I made that decision, I was able to clearly communicate that to them. And then they left me because I really took that boundary really seriously. So that is your responsibility, to draw the boundary and to stick with it. And of course, perhaps later on in your life, you can re-engage each other. That's fine, okay? Sometimes we go through phases where we no longer align with the person. We separate, and then maybe perhaps in another time we come back together again. Who knows? But that is no longer a priority. That is no longer important. That will show itself out. If it has to happen, it will happen. But what is important right now is that you're really, really honest with yourself and with the other person. You state your feelings and you tell them as honestly as you can that you no longer want them to be in your life anymore. And it's not rude. If you're honest, it's not rude. And you don't need to make it more dramatic than it is, okay? Don't use extra words. Tell them it's nothing personal. It's just how I feel, it's just how you feel, and what you would like to happen. And that is enough. That's more than enough. If they're upset again, it's not your responsibility. It's their problem. They will have to deal with similar situations in their life again and again and again. So the faster they learn it, the faster they actually run into someone who takes their boundaries seriously, the better, because then they will learn the lesson faster, and it will also save them a lot of suffering. You want the best for everyone, okay? You want the best for yourself, but also for them. So being honest is a form of tough love, and while you say it, you can still send them all the love and the gratitude and the appreciation. You don't have to be angry and be like this and resentful and negative, okay? You can simply state them in all honesty. I no longer want you to be in my life. I wish you all the best, and I hope you will live a life of abundance, and I want you to respect this decision. And I send you all the love and the gratitude and the appreciation, and leave me alone. I still love you, but I want you to stay out of my life. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. Goodbye. That's enough. All right, guys? I hope that was helpful. I hope that solved your problem. If it did, feel free to leave a like. This helps to expose the video to more people who might be struggling with this exact problem. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, please click that subscribe button for me. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.